Hello YouTubers and welcome to my channel. If you like the content, please subscribe and press that notification button for upcoming videos, or give us a thumbs up if you like the content. At the moment the Irish government is pursuing a net zero policy by 2015, where certain industries will have to reduce their carbon emissions. The Irish government has enforced a target on the agricultural sector in Ireland for a 25% reduction. I think that goes on till 2030, but this is going to mean that our agricultural sector is going to be under fierce pressure. They're going to have to reduce their cattle herd. Now, it doesn't say that in any of the documents, but the way it's put down on paper, it's going to be a decimation of the industry. You're going to have a lot more costs regarding bringing a head of cattle to a market, etc., compared to other countries. Now, the biggest countries in the world for cattle herds would be, say, India, China and Brazil. Now, if we concentrate on Brazil, Brazil has made a statement saying that they're going to increase their cattle by another 24 million. Now, they already have 220 million cattle. We only have just 8 million, just under 8 million cattle. So, if you got rid of the 8 million cattle tomorrow, that would still mean that Brazil is going to be introducing 24 million on top of their 220 million. For Brazil to bring in 24 extra million cattle, they're going to have to burn down rainforests, cut down rainforests, deal with a few indigenous tribes the way they have in the past, etc. So, do you really think that it's good and green for the environment to be cutting down the lungs of the earth, which is the Amazon rainforest? Or is it better to leave Ireland's cattle industry the way it is? The cattle are grass fed, the fields are already there, and the Irish cattle industry has to go through very strict health enforcement rules. They have health and safety rules. They have veterinarians who have to check at each point in the food chain from, say, the farm to the plate as to the quality of the animal. With all these checks, they cost money, and now there's these new environmental checks coming in, which is going to put the price of Irish beef up. On the other hand, you're going to have cheap Brazilian beef coming in that doesn't go through the same checks. So you'll have Irish beef on a shop, in the shop, which was going to be far more dearer than Brazilian beef. But the reason being is the Brazilians will have a competitive advantage over the Irish beef. The Brazilians do not have the same costs involved with bringing beef to the market. They don't have the same legal constraints, they don't have the same health and safety constraints, and they won't be worrying about the environmental constraints either, because the fact that they're going to increase their herd by 24 million, that's going to bring them up to 244 million cattle. So if we're the good boys in the class and we do exactly what the government wants us to do you think that's going to make a major impact on the climate? I know we'll have done our bit, but our bit will mean the eradication of the cattle, the beef industry. If you don't think you can wipe out an industry in Ireland to do with farming, just think of what happened to the sugar industry. There was assurances given before all that happened, but there's no sugar beet lorries going along the roads now like you used to see. There's no sugar actually made in Ireland anymore. So I think it's nuts the way they're approaching this, unless every country in the world rigidly enforces this net zero policy. And because of the size of Ireland being so small, I think it is wrong for our agricultural sector, especially when there's a war on in Ukraine, to have to put up with this type of nonsense. What do you think? Especially when there's a war in Ukraine, the food chain, the supply lines are all being disrupted. there's going to be shortages of food. This is going to make food a lot more expensive for people in Ireland and for people in Europe, because Ireland exports. Also, how environmentally friendly is it going to be for Brazilian beef to be shipped all across the Atlantic to your table? Think about the carbon footprint there. It makes no sense. Over the years, through the global agreement on tariffs and trades (GATT), and through the World Trade Organization, the WTO, they've always been trying to achieve this, to get South American beef into European countries, into Irish shops. But it may look attractive when you see it on the shelf, but that beef will have huge environmental impact on the planet. You'll have the forests cut down. You'll also have problems as well with the fact that a lot of this beef is pumped with hormones, etc., that you don't get in Irish beef. So I think this is pure nonsense. What do you think?